Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of BanDam Talks, where we take anything from the world of music and we talk about it right here, right now. And this time we're going to talk about we've been doing these like top 3 mistakes we do, because we do a lot. We've done so many mistakes in our life. So this one is awesome. It's our top 3 mistakes that we did during live performances, or for live performances. Anything in live performance, mistakes we did. Today we got Mr. Dustin Parlier, which you've seen many a time. We have a new guy on the front today. He's our one and only drummer, Mr. Noah Hughes. He's awesome.
Hi there.
There you go. And I'm Matthew Estes. So we're going to kick this off over to our, over to our far left. Yeah, for y'all.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we're going to start over there with Noah. So Noah, what's your top 3 performance mistakes on stage?
Well, the first one I'll start with is make sure you have everything you need. Double and triple check that you bring every piece of gear you might possibly need. Yeah, I usually haven't had a problem with this. I always try to bring up backup sticks and things like that. But recently, in the past 2 weeks, I've had a different part of the drum set break and thought about bringing the piece that would fix that and been like, I'll be fine. And that's actually kind of really bad, right? So if you're a drummer, make sure you've got extra sticks, make sure you've got drum keys, make sure you're ready for whatever part you have to break and how you're going to go there, or how you're going to fix that. For other people in the band, just, if you think you might need it, you probably will. And if you say you don't, you're going to end up needing it. So that's my first one. My second mistake would be not communicating with the band, right? Or the whole band not communicating together, because there's nothing worse than you ending a song or them ending a song and you not ending together. And that might have happened once or twice to us.
And granted, these aren't mistakes that we did in the past. They are still flying high to this day, some of them. So
yeah,
just putting that out there. It's fantastic. Hey, that's part of music. Anyway, sorry.
So no. So that's one thing you might want to have discussed with your bandmates, right, or whoever you're performing with, is know how you guys are going to signal each other if something's ending, or if you're not familiar with something, or if you want maybe the song to go in a different direction, because it's really good for you all to be in sync and know what's going on. So I'd say miscommunication or not looking for communication from your other bandmates is my second mistake. And my third mistake would be just showing up late, right? So there's nothing worse than showing up, having 20 minutes to set your gear up, 7 minutes to get a sound check going, and as soon as you're finished sound checking, your first set's starting. It's kind of exhausting. So it's always better to show up earlier than later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's nice to be able to finish, take as much time as you want to get everything set exactly right, and then take a break.
And get a beer.
Yeah.
And just chill out, because it is so, I agree with you. I'm just going to interject real quick.
No, totally.
Like that, I forgot about that one completely. That's one. That's why we always try to get there like almost 2 hours before the show starts. So we have plenty of time to set up. We have 30 minutes to sit down, chillax, and have a beer. Because it is so frustrating to try to hurry everything up. And then as soon as you're done, it's sound check time. Actually, it's time to go on. And then you do your sound check with your first song, and then you just roll through it. And you're all tired, and you're all just like, well, I didn't get time to really get my monitor mixed down. And it's just it's just a hassle. So yeah.
Yeah, and the audience might be, why are you guys still playing? It didn't seem like you were ready, and now you're going, and I'm kind of confused about how it started.
Yeah.
And when are you introducing yourselves? And so yeah, it can be quite make it quite a bit challenging. And really, if you have that pre-show time between setup and starting, that can be a really good time for you and the band to get together and discuss how the show's going to go, if there's going to be any changes in the set, if there's anything you need to be reminded of. Because there's always going to be 1 or 2 details. If you're going to play for a few hours, there's going to be 1 or 2 details that you totally forgot about and that someone's going to remind you of, and it's going to make a song go better or something like that. So yeah, my third mistake would be not showing up on time, or showing up with less time than you need. So that's what I've got.
Nice. Cool deal. So for me, I guess, number 3, I'll go with that one. I'm trying to think of one. One that I used to do all the time. I've kind of fixed this. This is one thank God, kind of wised up to it. But putting everything way too loud in my monitor mix. That was something that I did when I was first starting out. I just blared. I was just like, well, I can't hear the guitar, turn it up. I can't hear myself now, turn me up. I can't hear this, turn up. I never thought of turning something down. So I would just blast everything. Like I would just let it go, and really all I needed was my vocal maybe and my guitar. Okay, well that was number 3.
If I could, I would say that like I totally agree with that, because so I use in-ear monitors when I perform, and sometimes if I get the mix wrong, then I really won't have an idea of how it's sounding, and that'll affect my playing, because I need to make sure that the way I'm playing is mixing with the band correctly, and that I'm not utterly relying on the mix. And you know that sometimes it's even a little helpful to have the monitor turned down so you get some of what the natural sound is, right? Yeah. And so you can get a little bit of both of those.
Otherwise, you just hear like the SPL, like the SPL level up on stage is just like ridiculous. You're just like, and you like feedback happens. You can't turn anything up without it like wailing. It is terrible.
Yeah,
it is a bad thing, especially on a small stage. Number 2, I went back and forth on this one, but I guess it would probably have to be not having a set list. That's a big one.
Yes. Nothing's more stressful. Nothing's more.
Not having a set list, that kicked everything out. Like we still do that sometimes. It's just like it's you don't make it, and you're just like whatever. We have it on our phone. We use an old one, whatever, and you just don't make the set list out, and I don't know. You don't have a set list. Like you're asking people about what song is next, and it looks extremely unprofessional. You have like sometimes a good 2-minute gap between the songs, just talking to each other about which one you want to do next.
And where you're not talking to the crowd either, where it's just like dead space,
and they're just staring at you.
Yeah, they're just like, well, this is cool. And like it's not like like it's cool to be like, okay, well, like just remind us next one's in like the key of this, or like somebody has a question, be like, yo, what is? Give me a tempo, whatever. Like that's fine. We don't like stand there for a minute or two, like talking about which song you want to do next. That's really bad, and we still do that sometimes just because like we don't have time to make a set list, things go wrong, so it's just taking the time, pre-show to get all that stuff together is really important to me, and that's something we're still working on. Still, I'm working on anyway. Mm-hmm. Number 1 for me is performing a song that we weren't 100% cool on. Because we've done that, like, we're like, okay, that went okay in practice. And sometimes we didn't even practice it. We'd just be like, yeah, it's pretty easy. And we'd go through it and we'd butcher it. We would, like, cut it up into little pieces, throw it into a field of nothing, and let it grow like crabby, little, like, Tim Burton-y style stuff.
Or even if you go through it and have maybe, like, an acoustic run-through of it, and you've got an idea of how the structure goes, you've got planned how you're going to play it, and you're like, this should go well. I mean, it sounds pretty good to us. It'll sound better when it's full band and full noise. And even if it's not that bad, if it's just not solid, and if you go for it and it doesn't work and the crowd doesn't feel it, and then it's just
the crowd can tell. They can tell, like we can tell, but we know, like we're looking at each other, like because somebody's doing a different riff, somebody else over here is doing a different riff. I forget the words, somebody else forgets the word. Like we're
the backup
like,
vocals
everybody's just like, I don't know what the words are. The other was like, I don't know what the riff is. Like, and Noah's like, I don't know if we're in a chorus or a fucking, like, I don't know what we're doing right now. And so it's just.
If I could bounce off of that, I think it would be. It's similar to like if someone gives you a request and you think, oh, I know the chorus to that.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Let's try it, and then you may get in. You may think, why not? We could give it a shot.
Oh, yeah,
get a minute and a half into it, and then they're excited, and you can't close, and it just it kind of just dissolves, and people go, okay, well,
hell, like
why did you do that?
A quick recap: monitor mix being way too loud, not getting a set list together on time, and not being confident with the song and butchering it before you actually play it live. So those are it for me. Dustin, what do you got, man?
Well, actually, 2 of mine correlate with theirs as well. We didn't talk about this beforehand. We all just kind of came up with them and then did the video. But,
which is awesome, by the way.
But
it's good to go first.
One of my big issues was warming up. I'm not warming up enough for my vocals and stuff because I'm doing higher harmonies a lot too. So I'm already kind of pushing myself. And if I don't warm up enough, I'm very prone to like voice cracks and things like that, and no one wants to hear that over the top of the melody.
Except for me. It makes me giggle.
Yeah. So I would say not warming up or practicing enough beforehand is a big deal for me, and I did that a lot in the beginning when I first joined them. And then my next one would be not communicating with the bandmates enough, as he said, either in between songs or during the song itself. sometimes we'll decide to like lower the key or change the key of a song, and I'll know what song we're going to do next, but I won't ask if we're doing that. And so then when we start, I start playing like a half step off or something like that, and that also sounds just as terrible as my voice cracking. So
the combination of those two are just amazing.
Yeah, once they combine, I just need to drop out. But
it's the best way to open a show
for sure. But yeah, communicate with your bandmates. Make sure because things change, and if you're playing long sets, of course, sometimes you might want to lower the key or something to make it easier on the vocals, or maybe it just is easier on the guitar to play it in like C or something like that instead of like a sharp or like flat key. But so yeah, I would say communicate with your bandmates both in between and during the songs as best as you can. And then finally, I would say I tend to focus on my instrument more than the audience sometimes, especially if I'm doing something that's a little tricky. And so I won't be like watching the crowd and seeing how they're feeling and getting the vibes and everything. And so like I'll be playing, and even if it's something simple, I'll notice mid riff that I've been staring at my guitar the whole time for about 30 seconds or something like that, and that never looks fun either, because to them it doesn't really look like you're enjoying yourself when really you're just trying to concentrate. But
no, dude, you brought up one of the best ones that I didn't even think of. Like that like I guess generic, like not having a interact with the crowd, interact with the fans, like that is huge. That I forgot about that one. That is something that I would totally do all the time. I would just sit there in a corner and do this. I wouldn't look at anybody. I wouldn't do anything. I would just do that. I would sing, and then I would get scared and like run away because then I would piss myself, and then I would run off stage.
I do the same.
That's huge. That's a great one that I totally forgot about. So
yeah, because the crowd's there. I mean, when the crowd is giving you energy, it makes the show go twice as well, right? But they're expecting you're performing for them, so you need to make sure you're tailoring it to it. Yeah, and interaction's a huge thing.
It is a huge thing, and even if
because that's really what dictates if the show goes well or not, is if the crowd enjoys it.
Yeah, if they're enjoying it, cool. But if you're not, like, and it is the hardest thing. Now it. It is the hardest thing to get into a show and to get like any type of crowd reaction with a crowd who's just sitting there like.
Yeah.
But it's something that, like, as performers, we still have to try to do, and it's
Mm-hmm.
so hard. And I still have huge trouble with that. It's like 25-75, like 25 being the times that I actually do, and 75 being like, well, if they're not going to get into it, then it's so hard.
Let's just play through it.
Yeah, we're just going to play through it, and it's not the right mindset to have, but I do it all the time, and it's something I really got to work on, continuing on that.
I'm sure you guys have seen YouTube videos where the crowd seems totally uninterested in what the band is doing, and people always comment like, "Oh, that crowd was so lame" or whatever. But oftentimes you'll notice that the band is still trying their hardest to get to hold that crowd's attention, and so that's what you have to strive to do. Because if you're going to act just like them, then there's not going to be any energy. Yeah. And if you're giving like positive vibes and they're feeding off of that, and you're feeding off them, your songs are going to sound better.
Yeah, no, totally. Like it's just like your crowd sitting at the end of the bar, and you're sitting at the other. If nobody breaks the ice, then nobody's making the moves. Nothing's going to just be staring at each other all night.
Totally.
Like so that's huge, awesome one. So
that's a good one.
Recap on yours, man. What you got?
Okay, so my first one was make sure you warm up, or if you're just playing instruments, like make sure you practice, and just make sure you have a good feel for the songs. And then make sure you communicate with your bandmates both in between songs and during the song as best as you can. And then finally, make sure you focus on the audience and interact with them rather than staring at your instrument the entire time while you play.
Nice. That's a good man. Nice. Well, guys, that was it. This has been awesome. We've actually got to go pack it for a show right now, so yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool, pretty awesome. But until next time, hope you guys enjoyed yourself. If you like it, comment. Check us out on Facebook. Our EP's out now, so you can go to CD Baby on iTunes, all that kind of stuff. Just look for it, BanDam, all of it / BanDam. So yeah, until next time, I'm Matt.
I'm Dustin.
I'm Noah.
And we'll see you later.